I'm going to start this video a little bit differently. Yes, this is still the character card database. Yes, this is still the guide. But talking about Style 1 Eyes, that is Style 1 Internationals, is a lot different than talking about their English-only equivalents. Because, to be completely honest, we're not 100% sure A, of what exists, and B, what they look like. So this video is not complete. It's, I think, the first one I've uploaded of this series that hasn't got every card from this set. Now, I would prefer to wait, but in a case like this, where, look, cards are scarce as it is, this video would never get made. So my plan is to basically update this video when we get more information, but for the time being, this is what we've got. And honestly, it's not a lot. I'm also going to give you a bit more of a rundown of who owns what card here, because I think that that's relevant. I try to do it. I did a little bit in the last two videos, but in this one, I think it will help you determine rarity, but also the fact that, for the most part, a lot of these cards are one person out of the current small circle who's contributed own. This Thomas, for instance, this is... And actually, before we get into that, a brief mention of what makes a Style 1 International front. Because this might just look like a Style 2 to anyone. And while you're right, the main difference between this and a Style 2 US is the SKU in the corner. Other than that, it's pretty standard. Although there are some smaller minor differences. That are the fact that these characters never got a Style 2. Thomas never got a Style 2. He only ever got a Style 1. Now, Thomas, that's owned by me. And it came from the Trees on Track set, a set which is also pretty equally rare. A lot of that early 2000s, 2001 international stuff, honestly up to 03, just doesn't show up. This Henry shows one of the quirks of the Style 1 Internationals. And that is, the images they used are promotional images, yes, but they're also the earlier promo images. If you're not aware, in 1999, when they updated the coal and the tenders to be plastic, they updated the promo images with some digitally added coal. Now, weirdly though, when you look at the tender on this Henry, it's still got the painted coal. This is still using the pre-99 image. It's a bit of an oddity with the Style 1 Eyes. I'm not entirely sure why they did it this way, but nonetheless, it's interesting. You also, of course, have the dual names, which has become a bit of a trend going forward with a lot of internationals. Up until at least 06, 07. Pretty much a fair few of the characters had dual names on them. Not all of them. Sometimes they just have some different translations on the back. This one is owned by TWR Ryan 86. As is this Gordon. Again, note the painted coal, as opposed to the plastic coal. The James that one's me, and I think also TWR Ryan 86 owns one as well. May go, oh, that makes it the most common. Again, it doesn't, if only it worked that way. Now getting to some of the lower quality images. These are just some of the ones that we just found online. These ones from a French auction site. This is Percy Pierre. And this is Toby. Now, is something odd about that Toby? No, it's just... Again, a lot of... It's not all the images are like this, but there are a few that are styled this way. And like, to give you an idea of how hard we had to search for these, we're not searching incredibly hard, but this one required us to go to, like I said, a French auction site, others are German auction sites. Basically looking around Europe to see if we can find these. It's not like the Style 4 Eyes, which are similar to the Style 6 US. They're rare, but that's only comparatively to the Style for 6s, which the Style 6s are pretty common, so the Style 4 Eyes are fairly common as well. In contrast, these are a whole league ahead of their US equivalents from this period. And to be fair, some of those US equivalents are also quite rare. Bertie Bertrand, this is TWR Ryan 86 again, although I think either D7101 Studios or Sudrian also owns this one. Sudrian Historian, that is. Duck, once it loads, this is a TWR Ryan 86 again. As is this Harold Herbert. Like I said, some have dual languages, some don't. I think I think that's French. I think it would be. Next up we have Terence Thierry. Now, I want to make a brief mention of internationals, just as a random aside. Your rolling stock tended to get more languages on the front than your normal characters. Also, interestingly, you see that now we've got, I think that's 3 languages there. From what we're aware now, and our current running theory is that if you buy an international boxed item from 2000 and it's a piece of rolling stock, it doesn't have a label. Now, we'd always thought the labels were just missing on them, but from what we've been able to determine now, they just never had them to begin with. I've seen enough of them now where I go, yeah, you know what? They never had labels. And I think that just comes down to the fact that, I think even TWR Ryan 86 might have mentioned that they don't even have labels in some of the promotional material. I think it's more just inferred what it is, which is a bit interesting. Or maybe it's up to the store to sort of tell them what it is. I'm not 100% sure, but that would explain the extra languages. Another TWR Ryan 86 one, this is Duke, Duck, Dus. No, I'm not 100% on that one. But you see, we're jumping all over the place. We went from 99021 to 99051, and now we're at 99078. This is a D7101 card, Barrel Car Tonnenwagen Bardius. Again, I'm butchering languages today. And again, we skipped a few there. Neil, this is a pretty interesting card, actually. This one is a Sudrian Historian owns this one. Pretty cool. Catherine, this is TWR Ryan 86 again. And then, of course, the one that I'm really jealous of course, is the Flying Scotsman. This is pretty well up there. I mean, international Scotsmen don't show up, period. So this, again, very rare card. TWR Ryan 86 again. This one, I think it's TWR Ryan 86 again, although I think also D7101 Studios owns it. This is Cargo Car Frachtwagen, Wagen der Merchandisers. Again, that one doesn't have a label if you buy the boxed version. These are interesting. We might actually skip around a little bit. So, we haven't talked about Style 3s yet. And honestly, these are kind of in a weird middle ground where I'm not sure what to class them under. Not to look too far into the future. Style 2 Internationals still don't have, I think actually Style 3 Internationals for that matter as well, still do not have a nameplate at the bottom of the card. They're still using this red text. So I'm not entirely sure where to put these. They're one of the few exceptions to my sort of, I like to make sure that everything's got a consistent rule, but here it's kind of like they just don't belong anywhere. I'm kind of just tempted to put them under international MR cards, because really, but we'll talk about them here because, again, they don't really belong anywhere. It's not like the other ones where it's like they can be ascribed to Style 3. Now, I want to talk about the way to easily determine these from their US equivalents. So your easiest way off the bat is, is to look at the stars. Now, you go, what? The stars on internationals are very small. Okay? You'll see along the edges. Again, small stars. Now, if we go back, and then skipping ahead, spoilers, everyone, in the Style 3s, your US Style ones instead have larger stars. Let's go back to Style 1i. Where is it? There it is. That's the easiest way to tell. These are probably some of the more common Style 1s, Style 1 Internationals. but they're still pretty rare. I've seen a couple of dodge and splatters, and again, I see these enough, but they're definitely still scarce. And that's it. Yeah, look, that's, yeah. There's a lot to be said about how many we have there, and the fact that there is basically nothing. I haven't done a registry for this one yet, but I do plan to. But again, you look at who owns what, and it's, yeah. By the way, that's where those ones came from. The French ones were from a site called Le Bon Coin. Terence Thierry, that one is from a site. That one needs to be updated, actually. I can tell you what the site is. I don't have the site name on there. But that's from, I think it's Hole something. I'll have to find it. But you can see that, yeah, we don't have a lot. We do have a Duncan Dominique coming, although that might be a style 3i. They're a little bit different, and they're a little bit of a quirky card. But yeah. I don't know how accurate that number is, but according to that, we have 20 of 67. And, I mean, to be fair, we do have at least 7 of the 10 main guys. But again, we haven't seen an Edward Edouard. We haven't seen a Donald or Douglas. And again, we're not 100% all of these exist. I mean, we've got a couple that we're thinking maybe. I mean, like, but we're 90% sure. Like a D199, no idea. Soto Mail Coach, probably not. This list really needs to be updated. But the point is that we just simply don't have a lot of these in the database. If you own any of these, please get in contact. I'm even just as part of the registry, because these are scarce. Most of the people who own them would only own them because they own the boxes. They do not show up in lots at all. I have never seen a card lot with these cards in it. I only ever see them being sold with the boxes brand new, and those things go for a lot of money. It's why I doubt this will ever actually be finished, because, simply put, there's too many unknowns. Style 1 internationals, and to be fair, internationals generally are really poorly understood and really poorly researched. We tend to have a better idea of what US characters were, better idea of the US releases than we do of the internationals. And it's a bit of a tragedy, because I'll be completely honest, a lot of the time the international stuff is far more fascinating than the US stuff, and has a bit more of a diverse history. I think I'll end it there. So thank you all for watching, and bye for now.